Hello, I am Louis Zamperini. I was born on January 26, 1917. As a young boy, I was very rambunctious and swam in oil rigs, and I stole from anywhere. I then went to the military after Pearl Harbor was bombed and became a bombardier for the Army Air Corps. As I was flying to search for a missing plane, my plane's engines failed and we hit the ocean. Me and two other men got onto one of the life rafts, which are similar to these. They were yellow and they were not very big, but they had sides. Not like this one. They were deflated. They were kind of deflated. After 47 days of living out in the ocean, we caught a small shark, a 2-foot-long shark. But we had discovered that the only edible part of the shark was the liver, but we ate that. And then we also caught birds. We caught birds that landed on our heads. Like if we sat still, the birds would land. We would grab them, and we would pluck them, kill them, most of the time we'd break their necks and then eat them. We ate them all raw. We were strafed by a Japanese bomber. Several times we jumped in the water, but there were two large sharks swimming around. But we would if you hit them on the noses, they would swim away. And every time they jumped in, but the two other men eventually got tired, and I was the only one going under. After 14 days before we were found, one of our men died. But even though we were low on food, we never resorted to cannibalism. We set him in the water, kind of like burying him in the sea, because that's where he crashed, and then all the sharks left him alone. When we floated over 2,000 miles, and then we ended up in some Japanese islands where we were captured and sent to the Japanese POW camps, or prisoner of war camps. That's where I spent the next 2.5 years of my life, being tortured, interrogated, beaten, starved. I finally returned home, got married, had 2 kids, but sadly died on July 2nd, 2014, last year. I lived in LA, Torrance, California, and for 2.5 years, as I said, POW camps. Some important details from my life are that I survived the crash. I also impressed Hitler while I was running in the Berlin, Germany Olympic Games while running a 5,000-meter race. I was the youngest runner for those Olympics, but I ran my last lap in 56 seconds. But for the full-grown men, 70 seconds was astounding. Hitler complimented me by saying, "You're the boy with the fast finish." I also survived 47 days on the raft eating birds and fish, which we think is a record. An accomplishment from my life is surviving 47 days on the raft. Theories to describe me are enduring, because I ran a mile in 4 minutes and 20 seconds after I had been beaten up by several men in the race. They had cracked my ribs and they had injured my legs. I still ran the mile in 4 minutes and 20 seconds. I am crazy because everyone would let the guards at the POW camps break their spirit and degrade them, but I stood up to the guards. Even me and some other officers made a plan to kill one completely crazy guard who would beat me just because he knew I was an Olympic runner. We planned to tie him to a heavy rock, toss him out of one of our barrack windows, and drown him in the river. But then the day after, I'm pretty sure, the B-29s came, super fortresses, and they came and they bombed all the cities. And then the atomic bomb was dropped, and the war was over. So the one guard that we were going to drown ran away for fear of the POWs catching him and beating him, because now they could do that because war is over. And I am compassionate because I opened the Victory Boy camp for children who had troubles. They had been in the juvenile hall or something like that, rough and tumble boys. So I could help them. We would just go hiking, skiing, we would learn survival skills, as well as they would just open up. They would talk about anything, their feelings and everything over a campfire. And most of the boys who left were new. They weren't beating everyone up and stuff like that. Some contributions from my life are the Victory Boy camp, and I bombed Wake Island to drive the Japanese out, along with 25 other bombers. One interesting story from my life is that after some of the guards learned that I was an Olympic runner, they challenged me to a race against a healthy, well-fed Japanese runner. I lost, but I started training, getting my legs stronger by walking with my knees up and running when the guards weren't looking, running little laps to strengthen my legs. The second time they called the Japanese runner back, I beat him, but I was beaten by the guards. They knocked me out, but when I woke up, all my friends were surrounding me, and it was worth it. Thank you for listening to my speech. I hope you learned a lot about my life. Thank you.